Thanks so much for joining today's webinar. My name is Luzanne Lottering, the Marketing Manager here at CardioLog Analytics, and I'll go ahead and kick things off. Today's webinar is on leveraging advanced internal communication to drive adoption in SharePoint and Teams. A bit of housekeeping first. This webinar is being recorded. If you want to share this with a colleague, we'll go ahead and send an email with the recording after today's session. And of course, if you have any questions, please send them through to the questions box within our GoToWebinar panel. We'll leave some time towards the end for Q&A. And you can also connect with us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @CardioLog. In regards to the agenda for today's webinar, we'll start out with a very short introduction. We'll talk a bit about CardioLog Analytics and who we are, and then I'll jump straight into today's topic. We'll talk about barriers that might be hindering people from using new platforms, and then we'll talk about what Engage can do for your company. And after that, we'll discuss the importance of internal communication with users in order to get them to engage with the platform. Then I'll go over to our engagement tool and walk you through how you can use advanced internal communication tools to effectively manage change in your organization. At the end, we'll be taking some Q&A, so feel free to send your questions throughout the course of the presentation. Brief introduction. CardioLog Analytics has been around for about 14 years now, since 2005. We're based out of Boston. And over the last 14 years, we've been focused on web analytics designed for SharePoint and Office 365. Our flagship solution is CardioLog Analytics, and it's built specifically for internal platforms, including all versions of SharePoint, as well as SharePoint Online and Office 365. So, just a little bit about our vision as a company. We've been working with our customers for over 14 years. This slide shows our evolution. Our goal is to help our customers constantly improve SharePoint based on how it's being used. There are three main pillars that we talk to our customers about. The first pillar is monitoring activity, which is tracking the usage within SharePoint with in-depth internet analytics, insights, and usage reports. Our customers realized that understanding usage analytics is often simply not enough. They wanted a way to take action based on the insights gained from monitoring their portal usage. The second is engaging users, asking them what their needs are, what their pain points are, and what's not working for them. This is what we will focus on in our presentation today. And then finally, the most important pillar is enhance. We want to make sure that we're constantly improving SharePoint based on those two pillars. The idea is to have actionable metrics which will allow us to constantly make SharePoint better for our users. The real bottom line of our product is to help customers get more out of tools like SharePoint, Yammer, Teams, drive adoption and consumption once customers have access to this rich and insightful data. In other words, getting people to use these technologies more. As I've mentioned earlier, here's a brief overview of our various analytics and employee engagement solutions. Our flagship product is CardioLog Analytics. That is available both as an on-prem and as a SaaS solution. Gamify, a revolutionary SharePoint-based gamification service which encourages users to take action in the portal and ultimately increasing SharePoint adoption. And finally, we have CardioLog Engage, a great interactive solution for sending internal communication campaigns across the SharePoint portal and engaging with your users. With Engage, you can connect with your users to know what their needs are, send reminders, launch surveys, and dig deep to understand how you can improve various aspects of the portal, which I will tell you more about during this presentation. So let's get to it. And adoption and barriers to adoption. That is why we are all here today. The adoption problem is more prevalent than you might think. Surveys show us that more than half of businesses are flat out terrible at getting users to adopt new software. And although lots of businesses try to pick up the slack after a slow launch, we see a lot of platforms basically left to go to waste because of poor user adoption. If you are joining today, you likely have some difficulty with getting users to adopt to a new portal. You invested money in technology and you had high hopes, but it's not going how you have planned. You want to sort out your adoption issues because employee adoption has a huge ripple effect. The users will enjoy smoother task completion and less frustration, whilst for you as the organization, you will see improved productivity and positive ROI if adoption is increased. So, why do some technology changes succeed and others fail? Buying and installing new technology is actually the easy part. Making sure users adopt the new system to its full capacity and continue to use it on a sustained basis is where a lot of organizations fall short. Getting to full adoption and benefit realization for technology projects is not simple, and it's certainly not a given. Let's take a quick look at the top barriers to user adoption that, once overcoming them, you will be heading down the right path to new technology implementation success. The following can hinder adoption of new technologies. Mainly, users don't understand value, users are not provided with training, and ineffective communications. Let's look at those a little bit deeper. The first barrier to adoption is users not grasping the value of the tool, and therefore adoption is lagging. So take the time to explain the new software and how it will benefit the company, and importantly, how it will benefit the users, whether that's by making a cumbersome process much quicker or streamlining a number of odd tasks into a single program. Also, reassure users that they will be given full training and support. Remember, no use expecting your employees to be excited about a new piece of software if they don't know the whys and hows of that business decision. As we can see, users are in fact the key to realizing the full potential of your new software. Only when your users adopt and embrace the new portal can your migration really be a success. Organizations that actively communicate the value and benefit of the platforms are more likely to be successful with their migration because users will be motivated to start using the new software. Adoption does not occur by accident. The second barrier to adoption is poor user training. One of the biggest barriers to digital adoption is the old-fashioned training processes many enterprise companies still have in place. Once your employees have heard the buzz and seen the new tools in action at kickoff events and with highlights throughout your portal, it's then time to build on the excitement by offering a variety of training options tailored to your employees' needs and preferred communication channels. Employees are usually overwhelmed with information. Training that is engaging and fun, whenever possible, to increase information retention is best. Timing is also important. Users should be given information bit by bit and at the right time, and definitely not all at once. So training is more effective when you give someone information when they are busy with the task they need that training on. And I just want to add that because there are so many digital platforms and that number is quickly growing, finding a way to get users up to speed is truly critical. Another barrier to adoption is ineffective communication. There is often a common belief that simply getting a message out to an audience is enough to get buy-in and eliminate resistance and even drive behavior change. As a result, too many organizations only invest in top-down one-way communications that don't motivate people to move from the one status quo to the desired state. Instead, center your communication efforts on targeting the right message to the right audience using the right delivery vehicles, and always include a feedback loop to get more insights directly from the users. You may get some negative comments, but allowing users to give their opinion keeps communication open and continues to involve them in the whole process. And also, feedback will highlight any major problems which users might encounter. So, let's talk about Engage. Engage is a powerful tool that can help raise awareness of a new technology, encourage more people to adopt the technology, increase users' productivity within this technology, and collect important feedback from users regarding this new technology. I want to look at these four in more detail. First, awareness. CardioLog Engage can get a user's attention and create awareness. If you want to optimize or change the way people are using the platform, for example, Teams, you need to have a promising way to get the user's attention and engage them, which is exactly what Engage does. You need to inform, involve, and inspire your users in order to see the expected behavior change required of consumption of a new technology. For example, if a user is using SharePoint and doesn't use Teams, maybe show them a pop-up in SharePoint reminding them that they have access to Microsoft Teams, so they are much more likely to start using it or at least check it out. Second, adoption. Keeping your employees in the loop and making them feel heard will result in a much higher adoption rate. In order to maximize the use of the platform, whether it is SharePoint or Teams, we have to push new people who have not yet been on the platform to go and check it out for themselves. Notify them of new features, advise them where to go to find different information, and notify users of new tabs or sections that don't get any attention, and so on. With Engage, we can push or notify specific people, the relevant people, or all the users. With CardioLog Engage, we're taking portal adoption and internal engagement to another level and putting the power in your hands. It's simply a few clicks and the launch of a campaign, as I will show you later in the demo. And another value of Engage is productivity. By increasing adoption, users can be much more productive. Engage allows you to engage your users in order to expose them to new or relevant content in the app. It enables you to establish new methods in which to communicate, and these methods maximize the potential success to gain the user's attention and complete the relevant tasks, such as telling users in specific teams, or pushing specific users to complete a task, or check out an important file before the end of the day, or informing teams or individuals of assignments that have to be done, or notifying people about a site that was moved. Many examples, as you can see. When users waste time searching for something, they are not being productive. So a pop-up that would automatically display when someone visits your old site and would redirect them to the new site will save a lot of time and obviously therefore increase productivity. On Engage, you can choose exactly what your audience or your receivers will be or who they will be to only target them in order to increase productivity. By addressing only the relevant users, you do not bother everyone with an email, for example. Engage makes feedback much more efficient. Keeping employees in the loop on changes to your portal is key. Engage keeps users updated and motivated and asks for feedback. When you want users to adopt a new software, it's important to offer them a way to give feedback. Therefore, you should have a tool such as Engage that enables two-way communication with your users to find out firsthand what's working and what isn't, and to be able to tailor training to the needs of your employees. So this brings us to the next point. Internal communication is basically the best way to boost adoption. Internal communication is more important than ever before. When you are trying to get employees to adopt a new portal, an internal communication plan or tool to drive user adoption to its highest potential is absolutely necessary. I'll say it again. Communication must be ongoing and bidirectional. Users must be given a platform to voice their thoughts and concerns, and management ought to respond to these concerns of employees to ensure satisfaction, happiness, and productivity from the employees. What's important is to ensure that the right message lands in the right hands. If you use multiple channels in your awareness campaign to communicate the same message, you'll get a stronger response and higher adoption rate from your users. Email is the most common communication channel, but there are many other ways, more creative ways, that you can get in touch with your employees besides the traditional inbox. You could host a kickoff event to announce your company's plans to migrate from Skype for Business to Teams. This gives your employees a chance to ask questions in person. You can also send a variety of messages within SharePoint to reiterate the upcoming changes, save vital time, and increase clarity and excitement in the lead up to your change. Adding highlights and teasers on your intranet site is a fun and engaging way to keep your users excited about the new changes. CardioLog Engage is a great tool to use to communicate with your users in order to improve adoption and productivity. We will now hop over to for a quick demo for CardioLog Engage. So, as an example, we have found that our new HR site is not being accessed, and we can create a campaign here that actually promotes that site. Let me show you. You'll click on Promote a Page. This way you can let everyone know about this new site. Or perhaps we are about to rebrand our site, and we will ask people, the users, what is missing for them and how can we improve. There's many of those. When you are creating a campaign, you can use either a pre-canned campaign or you can create one from scratch. And there are a few steps to creating these campaigns. Step one is going to be the audience. Who do you want to engage with inside the organization? Do you want to engage with everyone in the company? If in the data we found out that our sales team is not very active, let's then create a campaign and we only target the salespeople. So we'll say people who belong to sales users. Tell them they have access to SharePoint and we are launching Teams. Let's tell everyone from sales about the Teams platform. Or, because we track all the users, I won't target everyone from sales. I will target only the sales people who are inactive in SharePoint or Teams for more than 30 days, for example. So that is the audience, who you want to connect with. The next step is how you want to engage with them. So you click on channel. For example, you can show them a pop-up right on the page, the SharePoint page. You can ask them for feedback. You can ask what's missing for you, how can we improve. You can tell them that we've moved a site on the page. Header and footer are also great to tell them about new content. For example, check out the new HR site or check out the new CEO blog post. If I'm using SharePoint, and I don't use Teams, maybe show me a pop-up here reminding me that I have access to Microsoft Teams so I can start using it. These are some great ways to interact right here on the actual pages. But for people who don't actually access things like SharePoint, they won't see any of these pop-ups. So for them, a quick email might be a much better idea. It could be a very targeted email to salespeople who are inactive or they're out in the field all day visiting with customers. Maybe then a quick text message will be best. Or for just the salespeople who are inactive, just once again a quick pop-up with a link back to the page in SharePoint where we uploaded some new collateral for them. So step 1, in the data I found out that the sales teams aren't very active within SharePoint, for example. And step 2 will then be, I'm going to drive their consumption and adoption by actually interacting with those orphaned users. Your next step in creating a campaign will be text and design. This is where we design the campaign. You can ask here, what do you think of our new HR site? Or have you checked out Teams yet? Everything about the look and feel, you can also change here. I want to talk to you, for example, change the corners, the background, but the main thing I want to talk to you about is call to action. You can ask them to rate your site. You can ask for feedback, so then you would select your call to action to be an open question. So the idea is that we can really get a lot more data from the users besides just the analytics, where again the goal is to get that feedback and create a better intranet for the users so they'll use it more or raise their consumption of those technologies. That's really the bottom line of this tool. Another example, I'm going to stay on this page, text and design, would be traditional emails we are sending employees. So instead of sending them an email inviting them to an event, for example, training for Teams, send them a quick pop-up on the SharePoint page. Say to them, you are invited. Tell them you are invited. There will be training Monday at 5. And then your call to action would be RSVP. There we go. To that event. And also, you can have one campaign follow another. So for those who clicked on maybe, send them another pop-up tomorrow asking them to click on yes or no. And those who said they want to attend the event, they want to attend the training, they will get a message before the event with a reminder about the event. And the last step here is going to be the trigger. You can schedule the campaign or trigger it based on the interaction with the technology, whether that's SharePoint or Teams. That could be scrolling down a specific page or viewing a specific page, like the, let's say, results page. Viewing the search result page for more than 60 seconds. And that's when the pop-up will appear, when someone is just viewing the results page for 60 seconds. Because if someone views results for such a long time, they're probably not able to find what they are looking for. So the pop-up will appear asking, what are you struggling to find? So you are asking the right question at the right time to the right user to give us the best feedback on how to improve search in this case. So the idea is to constantly know what's going on in order to improve the drive of consumption and adoption of tools such as SharePoint, Yammer, Teams, and so forth. Just go back to our presentation. And that was the demo for Engage. Now let's answer some questions. Please send us any questions you may have in the GoToWebinar question box. Oh, I do have a question. I have a question from Andrew. Andrew asks, can we use it for SharePoint Online? Yes, Andrew, absolutely. You can use this tool with SharePoint on-prem as well as with SharePoint Online and Teams, of course. I hope that answers your question. Another question that I see here, I have a question from James. James asks, can we target different departments? Yes, James. One of the things CardioLog does is connect to SharePoint profiles, so you can track any region, department, branch, job title, and really any other details you use to segment your users and leverage those properties in the analytics, as well as target them with Engage. I'll take one more question. I have one more question from Rachel. Rachel asks, do you have a trial? Yes, Rachel, we do have a trial. We have a free trial as well as proof of concept for people who want a longer evaluation or to try more environments and features. We can definitely share more information about what's included in each. Well, people, thank you very much for joining. We are just about out of time, so I'm going to wrap up our session today. As a reminder, we have recorded this webinar and we'll be sending out the recording tomorrow for you to share with your colleagues who are unable to attend. If we didn't get to your questions today, we'll respond to your questions via email. I invite you to visit us at cardiologanalytics.com to book your free demo for Engage, a full demo. And you can always tweet us at CardioLog. And for more information and helpful tips, you can check out our blog at blog.cardiologanalytics.com. And for more information, you can contact us at info@cardiologanalytics.com. And a huge thanks to everyone who joined us today and sent in their questions. Have a wonderful day or afternoon, depending on where you are.